We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Soul Wars Wrath of the Everchosen supplement Battle review.
I guess it's a continuation of the Soul Wars series,
Which is actually pretty cool.
Which is kind of the whole second edition Age of Sigmar narrative thing going on, pretty much involving death in general. And what a surprise!
Chaos.
Yeah,
lots and lots of chaos.
This is Nagash's forces invading the 8 points. If you're not familiar with what the 8 points are, it is kind of the grand central station of the realm gates that Chaos controls, and the 8 points connect to all the realms through realm gates and various means. And Nagash wants that for himself.
Maybe we get a Luka lore on this book.
Oh, I mean, yeah, maybe. Why not? I mean,
right? I know that list is ever growing.
Right, yeah, it's going to keep going more and more and more and more, right? That's the idea. Essentially, if you guys want to know what this book is, it's a supplement release.
Yep.
First
one for AOS? In a true
so.
supplement form?
I think so.
There's a lot packed in this book.
It gives rules to all Chaos factions except for Skaven and Beast of Chaos.
Correct. That was unfortunately very, very devastating, actually, because I kept trying to...
well, I mean, I guess technically Beasts of Chaos can like weasel their way into the other ones.
There are absolutely ways of getting Beasts of Chaos and using some rules from here.
Right. Do they have the mortal keyword though?
They do not.
So then it probably wouldn't work for the new rules in these books.
There's a lot of rules here that just won't work for them. You can get them in your list, but just not now. But we'll cover that in a little more detail as we get to it. Okay, so one thing I want to cover right away in this video is expect a lot of cuts. I have a really loud, nasty cough that I can't control. So instead of making you listen to all those, I'll just cut the camera every chance I can possibly get. I do apologize for that.
Cullen will deal with it.
Yeah, sorry, Cullen.
I guess for real, it's just like, sorry, an apology to Cullen.
Yeah. Well, I just want to join cuts. Either way. We're going to cover everything in this book. Well, everything, for the most part.
We can give you an idea what's in it, what you can expect.
With a couple of new Allegiance abilities and a lot of new battalions, I'm going to be playing a game right now in the MiniWarGaming Vault using some of the demon rules in this book.
Yeah, it's the new Allegiance, the Legions of Chaos Ascendant, which uses all four. You want to use all 4 Chaos
units. You don't
have
to.
But you can.
Yeah.
Steve did in his game.
Yeah, I did. So in the game Luka and I played, actually, it was a 1,500 point game where I used nothing but demons, because you have to use demons in Chaos
And that one has to use demons, yeah.
Against a Bone Reapers.
I was the null myriad due to popular demand.
So I actually, I really kind of enjoyed our game. I enjoyed the army that I played, a pure demon army, and it just makes me hope for more generic demons coming out in the future. I used some Furies.
Right, yeah, he used some Furies. My thing with the game was that I didn't really respect... I see this list, and I'm like, okay, I know that literally all these demons are really bad on their own.
Yep.
Except for Demonettes in their own book, Heathen Knights. Khorne, when they have moral support, is really good. Plague Bearers, I know, are just straight up bad. I don't know about Pink Horror so much. But the Demon Princes he brought were...
They did all the work. Plus, I mean, you know what? We'll get to more about Legion Ascendant in a second, because there's a lot of cool rules there that take some mediocre miniatures.
Yep. And
they don't improve the miniatures, but you can help your playstyle with them.
100%.
So a really cool, nice ability, because even when I first read them, like, it's not that powerful, but I mean, on the tabletop, it can be quite useful. But there are a lot to go over in this book. Like, Luka, we talked about it briefly. This is a lot of lore already.
There's a lot of lore. It kind of goes over the events of what Nagash is trying to do, Archaon going against it. Ideally,
how much did you read?
I didn't read a lot of it.
I've read almost none of it. There's so much.
There's a lot. So with Wrath and Glory, the reason why you have the Legion of Chaos Ascendant and all these Chaos rules is because Chaos is trying to work together now to fight in the 8 points against Nagash and his forces. That's why you have the Nurgle Demons, Khorne, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch Demons all working together in Ascendant. And then, of course, you had the Varangard one, the Empty Throne.
Oh, I love that. I want to play that.
We don't have any Varangard as of right now.
But we got some coming as of today, actually. Yeah.
And then there's new rules how to siege and wandering endless spells, which we're going to cover all that throughout the rest of this first impression.
Yeah, lots to go here.
We're going to try and go through quickly some of the new additions to the game. First, and in my opinion, one of the coolest ones.
Actually,
it gives you a new realm to fight in, the 8 points. So in the core book, you can fight in the 7 realms, or of the 8. There's lots more of that, but you can't fight in the 0.
There's no war in the 0.
Yeah, you fight in the realm with 8 points. It's got the same rules. It's got spells, you've got command abilities, and you have, in this one, 6 Realmscape features. Now, this adds a lot more to it, because in this one you have roaming monsters, much like Gur.
I love it.
where you know how in the realm of beasts you always get 2 monsters. This one's got roaming monsters as well, but you yourself don't control the monsters. There's a whole artificial intelligence chart that the monsters follow.
It's 2 full pages.
It's 2 full pages.
It's not that bad. It's not that daunting. Don't worry.
But well, yeah, once you do it once, it'll all make sense. And the spell at the 8 points lets you. That's the only thing that lets you control the monster. What's the spell called? If you flip to the next page, it is called Marked Quarry. You mark an enemy unit, and the monster does whatever it can to get there. It shoots if it has any shooting attacks. It runs over that way. It charges that way. That's how you control the monster. Otherwise, the AI takes over and it follows the chart. If this, then that. If that, then this kind of thing.
A really cool little flavor thing. Didn't expect a new realm to fight in. Though in hindsight, we kind of
It makes sense though. With that, we have the addition of roaming endless spells. Essentially, they're called next page. They have a specific name: wandering endless spells. Okay, there's rules on how the endless spells they come in from the table quarters. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. They come in from corners, from sides, and all that stuff. And it's just a nice way to add those models that you bought a long time ago that you never used to your games. I'd recommend checking this out. It uses a lot of the same rules as roaming monsters, where it's kind of all over the place, right? And it's unpredictable, and it kind of adds a little bit of extra chaos to your game in the 8 points. And that's
cool.
That's what you get with the 8-point realm. Next thing we would like to cover quickly for you is the addition of more siege warfare rules. Now, I like these rules. Essentially, what this is you have a siege phase in your game. This is a phase that happens before the first battle round, and there's all rules about. There's 2 battle plans in there that specifically use the siege warfare rules. There's like 6 battle plans in there in general, but 2 of them use siege warfare. You pretty much set up the table as normal using the Age of Sigmar rules. If you use those, it tells you how to set terrain up. This one then says for the defender, after you figure out who the attacker defender is, the defender can put an additional 5 to unlimited pieces of terrain, essentially, in their territory. And you do whatever you want with that. It could be walls. It could be... It's a stronghold you're fighting. And it's not so much that you're trying to break through a wall, but you've already broken through the wall, and you're attacking them in their stronghold. And then, after all your setup and all that stuff, you enter the siege phase. And then the attacker will have, during the actual siege, before the fight, would have dug tunnels, would have maybe attempted to starve you out, or had battered down some of the terrain features that the defender has brought through artillery or any means like that, saboteurs, that kind of stuff. Now, both the players, I say I'm the attacker, Steve's the defender, I would choose one of 3 things. Do I want to, no matter what, you do all 3 of those things. You starve them, you tunnel, and you batter their terrain features. Now, I can choose one thing to focus on more. I could choose to starve you out more. I could choose to focus on battering, or I could choose to focus on digging tunnels. Whereas Steve I secretly choose that, and then Steve would secretly choose
focus on one of them.
To focus on defending against one of them, and then
gathering supplies, rebuilding, or counter tunneling. That's kind of cool.
It is, and then essentially what this does is whatever I choose and he chooses, there's a cross-reference chart, and it gives you bonus modifiers to each one, and then you apply the results to the defender's army. You roll a d6 for every unit on the table, or that they have on the table, and on a 5 or more, they take d3 mortal wounds as they've been starving. It's on a 6 against characters. And then you dig a tunnel, you put a hero and 2 units to the side for a tunnel, and then you might destroy some of his terrain features.
You want some cool narrative bat reps, you got something
especially if you have the terrain to work with the siege.
You need the terrain,
I wouldn't recommend, I guess you could do a really prolonged game, because these games are usually only 5 turns. If you have walls set up, and a gate and everything that you want to try and break through, extend the game length, because it does take a while for units to climb up and over walls, break through a gate and all that. You wouldn't really have a proper game. This is to represent already breaking through the walls, but you can modify that, of course. And that's the new siege rules, and I think they're great. We didn't do them in the battle report because there was a lot to it, and we were trying to focus on Steve's new army for the most part there.
But there are command abilities for the sieging armies. There's defenders and attacking ones, which is great. And 2 full pages of special allegiance abilities.
That's right.
While sieging, I'll do just the first one, which happens to be Beast of Chaos. I think was there everything in here except for the demons I played today.
Yeah,
that's why we ultimately couldn't do siege.
Right, because we wouldn't be able to show it off fully because demons don't have any siege allegiance abilities.
If you're a Beast of Chaos attacker, if you have Beast of Chaos in your army, you add 1 of the starve rolls in the siege phase.
So that means
we eat up all the food in the surrounding area.
Right, exactly. It's hard to defend against Beast of Chaos when they're trying to starve you out because, again, when you roll a 5 up, they get a +1 of that, so it's a 4 up to do d3 mortal wounds.
That's cool.
But if you defend against it, I think you take 2 away from the roll, so it's like a 6 up, stuff like that. So if you're fighting against Beast of Chaos, you want to
protect the starve.
You want to.
Maybe they're going to go after someone else.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. And these are allegiance abilities that are added to your already allegiance.
And if you're a defender Beast of Chaos, once per battle, when you use a Sally Force, Sally Forth command ability doesn't cost any command points. Sally Forth is one of the new command abilities for
the defenders.
So like there's 2 pages of them. You find your faction and you find out what special rule you have in Siege. That's cool.
Things
That's
like
so cool.
Things like the undead ones are immune to starvation because they're undead, right? They wouldn't care about that.
And then
a lot of new battle plans to
1,
check out.
2, 3, 4,
These are
5,
the,
6, 7, 8.
These are the narrative battle plans that represent the conflicts of the 8 points of this book. But there's also 2 scenarios in there that they would recommend using for siege battles.
Nice. And then the meat, I think what everybody's kind of waiting for is the allegiance abilities.
Yes.
So we have 2 new allegiance abilities.
That's
mostly
the
the right word. We have the Legion of Chaos Ascendant, which I did in our bat rep. It's in the MiniWarGaming Vault.
Yep.
Again, we haven't covered this yet, but if you're not a Vault member, you can watch this bat rep for free. Just sign up and you can cancel right afterwards. Watch the bat rep and leave if you want. You'll stick around. But so Legion of Chaos Ascendant, the first one, you want to be demons.
Yeah,
so,
you have to be demons for that.
Yeah. So your special rule is called the Infernal Realm Walkers. You roll a dice for each wound allocated to a friendly Chaos Ascendant demon unit. On a 6+, the wound or more wound is negated.
They don't have to be near heroes for that one. It's just, no matter what, your demons have a 6+ to shrug off damage. That's a nice addition to have.
Now, a fantastic ability to have, in which I have to show off a little bit in our bat rep, is it's called Unyielding Legions. At the end of your movement phase, you pick 1 friendly Chaos Ascendant demon hero that is on the battlefield and roll 3d6. If you roll a 10 or higher, you can summon 1 unit of the following. So it's either 10 Bloodletters, 10 Plague Bearers, 10
Pink Horrors,
yeah. Whichever mark the demon hero has, it summons 10 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you have like one of every demon prince like Steve had, he got to pick and choose what 10 he essentially wanted to try and summon in that game. And that's amazing for objective-based games. Just summoning 10 models every turn. Now, granted, it's 10 dice on 3d6, which is the average.
Right.
So it's not that hard to pull
now,
off.
If you roll doubles to take a mortal wound, if you roll triples to take D3 mortal wounds.
Oh, whatever.
So you might take some damage or whatever.
That's not the worst.
But I mean, there's also there's 3 command traits. One of them is just +1 if it's your general, +1 to that roll.
So that means whatever that model is, he needs to roll a 9+ on 3d6, and he has to summon whatever his mark is.
We talked earlier about the rules aren't gonna make your Bloodletters them that much better. They're still mediocre little infantry, especially at a 32 mil base. But now if you're just dropping them on objectives, you move around a lot, you try to control the table.
Yeah.
Free units every turn. If you're wise about where you place them, can be very good.
Right.
So you covered wholly within 12 of the hero. That's some of them.
Yep.
9 inches away from the enemy. Like,
Which is the
it's
standard
super
demon
good.
summoning, I find. Yeah.
There was one point where just one unit summoned on an objective that you needed. Like it's just I think it's
an amazing ability.
It's by no means an amazing allegiance ability. Like, this is gonna shake up the meta. It's so powerful, but if you play the scenarios, it's quite good. I really like these ones.
This definitely tailors to someone who rather plays a scenario, because again, your demons aren't going to be hitting that hard. If you bring a lot of demon princes, they can, but it's all about scenarios with these guys.
Yeah. 3 relics, 3 command traits, and 3
they
spells.
have the lore of ruinous sorcery.
Not bad. The next one is called the Knights of the Empty Throne.
So these are Varengard that specifically work when Archaon is absent. They are... It's essentially, think of it as a different circle of Varengard.
True. Well, the lore is these are knights from various circles, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, there you
it's
go.
actually covered right there. But yeah.
So they work specifically well when Archaon's not around. In fact, you're not allowed to have Archaon on the list.
I actually really wanted to play this one today, but we don't have Varengard yet in studio.
Exactly.
Which is weird. But
so they are heroes of their own. Essentially, they all become... Did they all become heroes?
Yes.
So
Varengard become heroes.
Varengard units gain the hero keyword, but they don't get the Lookout Sir rule. It specifically states that here. They have specific command traits and artifacts they can choose from that essentially affect the entire unit.
Yeah. One artifact we need to cover, though, is the Grasping Plate. The unit bearing the artifact can be chosen to fight if they're within 6 inches of the enemy instead of 3, and pile in an extra 3. That is so good.
An example with what you can do with that is you can simply run the Varengard.
Yep.
And then if
they're a hero, right?
Yeah.
So they can give themselves that automatic 6.
Automatic 6. And if they get within 6 of an enemy, they can be elected to fight and pile in. And
so powerful.
And it's kind of a way for them to always fight first, too, because then your opponent can never elect to fight against them until you're ready to fight with them. And then they can always retaliate afterwards.
I love that, actually.
That's a really powerful relic. And that obviously affects the entire unit. It says a unit with this relic, blah, 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 gets this ability.
They have a nice command ability called Unmatched Conquerors. Real briefly, it's a paragraph. It removes models off objectives. It doesn't remove them off the objective, but it counts that they're not there.
Oh, so they themselves count towards it, but like how many does it take away?
Like 20 guys. Okay, I'll just read it to explain it properly.
Okay.
Use this command ability at the end of your charge phase. If you do so, pick one enemy unit that controls an objective and within 12 of a friendly Knights of the Empty Throne hero, so those legions, Roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in that unit. So if there's 20 models in it, you roll 20 dice.
Oh, wow.
For each 3+, until the end of the battle round, the number of models in that unit that count as controlling the objective is reduced by 1 for every 3+.
That's...
So, okay, let's say you throw,
Right.
there's a 10-man squad, and you roll perfectly average. You roll 7 3+. I know it's not perfectly average.
So only 3 of
So
them
now
count
only
towards
3 of them counts controlling the objective.
But your unit of Vanguard only has 3 models in it.
But I mean, you might have something else. What if it's
Yeah.
what if there's like 2 models there, or you roll 2 dice and both of them don't count? As
That works. Yeah, that works too. I think that's gonna be more powerful against smaller
Or
units.
even like Battle for the Past, which I seem to play like half the time. You can't quite get to the one holding their back objective. You can just like one model, all 3+. It's not controlling end of the battle round.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
it's not a fantastic, amazing ability.
It can be clutch though.
But it can be.
It could work out in your favor if you remember to use it. I think it's unfortunately one of those abilities that's not going to come up a lot.
I don't know. I think it would. The way I play, I think this would come
I
up
guess
a lot.
maybe it might. For me, this
This is why I want to play this army. I love this.
I wish the Vanguard counted as more than just one model when controlling an objective, though. I feel like they should count like not 5 each, but maybe like 2 or 3 each.
Because like you can still kill some, and like, it doesn't matter which ones they remove.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the number of models counted is reduced by 1. So I think it's for my play style. I love this one to death. And then there's the failures not an option. You just I want to like this, but I hate this. You use this command ability when a friendly knight's unit is destroyed. If you do so, roll a dice on a 5. Roll a die. On a 5+, a new Knights of the Empty Throne Vanguard unit of 3 is added to your army, wholly within 6 of alpha edge, 9 from the enemy.
There's going to be some people out there.
So wholly within 6 of table edge, 9 inches away from the enemy.
There's going to be some people there that's going to work for literally all the time.
Yes, and
So
that would be me actually.
It's good.
I don't like spending the command ability and then rolling a die.
Right.
But when it works,
Right, because your only options are those 2 command abilities. I don't think the Vanguard have any command abilities built in.
a Vanguard unit has to die, and then you spend a command point in a 5+, you get 3 new Vanguard on a table edge.
Right.
Sum it up, in case I talk too fast or mumbled, because I am going to do that.
Unless there's any stipulations there, I'm pretty sure, like hypothetically speaking, if you had like 5 command points, you could once the unit dies, you can spend like 4 of those command points and roll 4 dice, and as long as you get 1 5 up.
That's true.
Yeah. So as long as you
Well, you can do one at a time, right?
Right. But like until you might burn all your command.
I don't know. I'm gonna use all my command points on Unmatched Conquerors.
Exactly.
I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
when our Vanguard come in, I'll definitely try.
You'd probably end up using a lot of command points on the generic command abilities as well.
Now, there's a bunch more, but we gotta go back to the beginning to explain everything, I think, in proper detail.
Right. It adds a lot more to all the Chaos armies.
Okay, now we have a bunch of new hosts. They're almost like Legion's abilities, but they're not. But even though they're described as Legion's abilities, but they add on to other Legion's abilities. So, I hope I do a good job explaining this. This is a bunch of Legion's abilities, kind of like sub-abilities, that you will add to your other books.
This is what we talked about, how all Chaos armies got additional rules except for Skaven and Beast of Chaos.
So to quickly explain, there's 2 for Khorne, one called the Flayed and one called the Baleful Lords.
Right.
You can be the Flayed and Blades of Khorne.
Yes. That is the thing. So if you look back at your Blades of Khorne battle tome, you're gonna have 2 of these already in there, and it's called the I can't remember what they're called. It's the Gore-Tide, I believe, and the Skullfiend tribe.
Yes.
So this essentially gives you 2 more options, being the Flayed and the Baleful Lords. You get the rules of those 2 in addition to your Blades of Khorne Legion's ability.
Yeah, so those little sub-abilities that are all the battle tomes.
Right.
We got a bunch more. We have 2 for Khorne, 2 for Tzeentch, 4 for Nurgle.
Because Nurgle never really had any to begin with, so that's why they. But for some reason they gave 4 to Slaanesh, or 3 to Slaanesh.
3 to Slaanesh.
Okay.
And then one for the Legion of Chaos Ascended, which is basically Be'lakor.
Yeah. It's just a way for you to run Be'lakor in the Legion of Chaos Ascended, which is the Legion of the First Prince, because it's Be'lakor.
Did any one of them? You read most of them?
I-
Did any one of them really stand out to you?
There's the Flayed I liked for Khorne. It's if one of their if one of their units kills a monster or a hero, that unit gets +1 to its saving throw for the rest of the game, which is great for Khorne units that usually have a 4-up save already. Combine that with Bronze Flesh, and then that's a 3-up going to a 2-up. That can make your units pretty durable. Is it better than the other ones in the book? It all depends.
Time will tell. What combos you can now make, right?
Right. It's just like, dude, does your opponent have heroes or monsters? Then maybe yes, maybe no. It might not matter.
Okay, the Flayed command trait is you re-roll prayer rolls a 1 for friendly Flayed priests with an 8 of the general.
Which is not bad, but you have to remember, you get the altar for free by being Khorne, so you get to re-roll it for free anyways. But if they're away from their altar, re-rolling 1s is nice, because
Somebody's got to go forward, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Their artifact is add 2 to the charge rolls to the bearer. Their command ability is called Wrath Speaker. You can use this command ability at the start of your combat phase. If you do so, pick one flayed mortal unit. Wholly within 12 of friendly flayed mortal units with this command ability. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by melee weapons that target a unit if it made a charge in the same turn.
Now, we should note that, like, that one's for mortals. Now, to be fair, there's 2 more in the Blades of Khorne book, which are the demon ones, which I didn't mention earlier because they didn't matter for the flayed. Now, the Baleful Lords is the next one. This one also tacks on the demon one.
Yeah.
This one wants you to run Bloodthirsters. This is an entire Bloodthirster-only kind of house or legion trait thing. It lets you add 1 more Bloodthirster. If you get 1 more Behemoth slot for a Bloodthirster.
For a Bloodthirster, yeah.
So you pretty much just run 5 Bloodthirsters in a list.
And Bloodthirsters, their ability they gain from this can run in charge.
Does it make the battle line?
No, it doesn't do that.
Oh, okay.
In addition, if you're fighting a pitched battle, you can include 1 additional Behemoth as long as the Bloodthirster. Yeah, that's their legion's abilities. So run in charge alone is, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah, considering they move pretty fast already, so it gets them around.
Their relic is add 1 to save rolls. I see a lot in this book, actually.
Is there a
4-up base? Not one of these a 3-up.
Is that their command trait?
That's their relic.
That's their artifact power. That's okay. It makes it a 3-up save.
Add 1 of their charge rolls for Bloodthirsters while they're within 8 of the general is the command trait.
So it's just a line of Bloodthirsters running forward.
And their command ability. You can use this command ability at the start of the combat phase. Go figure, it's Khorne.
So this works well with the 1 battalion in the Blades of Khorne. That's all Bloodthirsters. When one fights, the other one wants to show off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like when one fights, the other one wants to show off and show that it can do just as good. So it's pretty much just all your Bloodthirsters working in tandem.
I love their command ability is my favorite. Basically, you spend a command point, and if your Bloodthirster is bracketed, you just use the highest bracket.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're down to 2 wounds and you fight at full strength, fantastic.
Yeah, especially when Bloodthirsters hit like trucks, right?
I mean, if you want to do a Bloodthirster army, like Luka said, you got something here.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to all these new legions, so we're going to skip to the Nurgle ones, and then we'll talk about the first prince as well. We'll talk about 1 demon one, and we'll talk about 1 Rotbringer one, which is like the Blight Kings.
So the
Munificent Wanderers. This is a demon-specific one. Again, these are all really nice because what are they called? Magikin. The Magikin and Nurgle now have 2 for Rotbringers and 2 for demons, and these are just things you just get for free. So your army book just got better.
Yep.
Just hands down.
Yeah, it's a supplement for like 5 books.
Yeah.
So you have your ability is the Locus of Corrosion. While an enemy unit within 3 of any I can't say it.
Munificent
Wanderer demons worsen the rend characteristic of the unit's melee weapons by 1.
Yeah.
If it affects a Nurgle unit.
It rusts their weapons essentially. It makes them less effective.
Your melee weapons are -1 rend when you fight anything Nurgle.
So that kind of makes it so their 5-up save will last a little bit longer.
Luka did say it's just for demons. You have to be a demon to affect the enemy, but if they attack even your mortal Nurgle,
right?
As long as they're within 3 of the demon unit. So it is a demon thing, but it will affect your mortals as well.
It's the demons have like this weird kind of like smog or rust aura about them.
Their command trait, One Last Gift, is actually super interesting. If you're familiar with the Slay of the Darkness Demon Prince, the command trait, if you have the Nurgle keyword, you pick out Slay the Darkness unit, and if you take
if you get hit on modified hit roll 6
is 1 mortal wound, or is it D3 mortal wound?
His is D3.
His is D3. Well, this one is just
which is super powerful.
Any Munificent
Wanderer
demon within 12 of the general. If you hit them on modified 6, you send it back 1 mortal wound.
Right, so you have your general with this 12-inch radius aura of. Did that have to be wholly within or just within?
Wholly within 12.
Okay, so you have to, that's a little bit harder for plague bearers and stuff with the bigger bases, but anytime those units are hit with a 6, that unit attack and takes a mortal wound, and that pairs well with the demon prince. You can put it on himself. Stuff like that. If he, I guess it'd be Slaves of Darkness still. But regardless, think of things like Witch Elves or Demonettes that are just going to be mowing themselves down with that ability.
Yeah. There's a lot of Holy Within 12 in this book, and a little bit of Holy Within 8, which is frustrating.
Holy Within 8 is brutal.
Is ridiculous.
Which I think is Balak.
Their artifact is called the Muck Talon. Pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons, add 1 to hit rolls for that weapon. Oh, the target's a hero.
Okay.
Yeah, mediocre.
I mean, I could think of, I guess, a great unclean one, because you get, +1 hit on him is a little bit better, but I'm not too sure. And
their command ability is one of those words, Wanderer Demon's Holy within 14 of a friendly one of those words, Wanderer Demon Hero. With this command ability, until the start of your next hero phase, an enemy unit that ends a charge within 3 of that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. A unit cannot benefit this command ability more than once a turn. So you put it on somebody, and if it charges you, they take D3 mortal wounds.
It's exactly Shield of Thorns from the Realm of Life.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Which is the spell, yeah.
Well, now it's called Infested with Wonders.
Is it actually called Infested with Wonders? Nice. I love the name of Nurgle things. I once had a Blood Bowl team for Nurgle team, and I was down a player right away. And they give you a journeyman player, and his name was Davian, the sickly #1 fan. So he jumped down from the stands and said, I'm your biggest fan. I'd love to play with you. He went with me all the way to the end of the league, and it was great. The Rotbringer one, which is the near mortal, that nice happy in between for the Magican, is the Blessed Sun. So they get an ability called Nurgle's Embrace. It's potentially cool, though you got to remember when you're playing Rotbringers, you don't have a lot of models. So anytime one of your models are slain, you roll a d6 on a 2-up, the attacking unit takes a mortal wound, which is pretty much likely that anytime you lose one model, the enemy is going to take a mortal wound. But if for whatever reason, if you're fighting Nurgle on Nurgle, the attacker actually heals the wound. So don't fight Nurgle on Nurgle with one of these traits.
Get your goo on them and it heals them.
And a fun fact, the other Legion here, the Drowned Men, have the exact same rule. But we'll focus mostly on the Blessed Sons. Yeah. The next one is the Foul Conqueror. What's that one do?
All right, once per turn, you can use the @the double command ability on a friendly Blessed Sons Rotbringer within 12 of the general without spending a command point.
Okay, that's really good. That's the one where you automatically run 6, which is good for Magican because if they're within 7 inches of their tree, they get to charge afterwards.
So it's probably worth 2 command points. You're going to run maybe twice in the game and no longer need to, or it's probably worth a couple command points to you. Their artifact is you can reroll saves for attacks that hit the bearer.
That's sure.
And their command ability is a little
wordy,
but not really. Okay.
Yeah.
So you use command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one friendly. My sign's still really clogged. Pick one friendly Blessed Sons Rotbringer unit wholly within 14 of a friendly Blessed Sons Rotbringer hero with this command ability. Then at the end of the phase, pick one enemy unit that has suffered any mortal wounds or mortal wounds, inflicted by that unit in that phase. If the combined number of those wounds and mortal wounds is greater than the bravery characteristic of the unit, they take 3 mortal wounds.
In the end, not good.
It's not terrible.
It's
basically I'm a horrible reader and I can't breathe.
So pretty much you have to inflict more mortal wounds than their bravery to
wounds or mortal wounds.
Oh, wounds or mortal wounds.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's not. I thought it was only mortal wounds. Never mind.
No,
that's not
so
bad
you're
at all.
often either you're probably gonna kill them or then it's not bad.
In the end, it'll do 3 additional mortal wounds to that unit.
It's a command ability that you have to use on a unit wholly within 14 of a character that's using the command ability.
I guess. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's not nothing. It's not amazing, but I think it might be pretty good. And finally, the Legion of the First Prince. And keep in mind, this can use the Ascended.
Actually, it has to use the. I think it has to use the Ascended, the Legion of the Chaos Ascended, which is all demons. So
everything we talked about with the demons earlier is going to apply to this.
So we were talking about the list that Steve ran. We had 4 demon princes following the 4 chaos units. This list would essentially throw Be'lakor into the mix there. So surprisingly, Be'lakor got a lot of rules in Slaves of Darkness. Now this gives Be'lakor even more rules and his own little legion, the Legion of the First Prince.
Well, they're not fantastic, but they're not horrible. So the abilities you gain is First Stand Prince. You can reroll hit and wound rolls for attacks made by Be'lakor while he's within 8 inches of at least one of each of the following friendly Legion of the First Prince units. 1 Bloodletter, 1 Plague Bearer, 1 Demonette, and 1 Pink Horror.
So he has to be in range of all 4 of them. At least
hate that already.
He has to be again at least one of each of them.
And then it gets better yet worse. In addition, before allocating a wound or mortal wound to Be'lakor, pick 1 friendly Legion of the First Prince, Bloodletters, Plague Bearer. Pick 1 basic demon unit wholly within 8 of Be'lakor. And a 4+ that wound or mortal wound is allocated to that unit instead. It can save them in combat. It's not terrible. It's actually really, really good. The wholly with 8 is frustrating.
Right.
That's going to be
It's got to be like right in the middle, or like it's going to be a small unit of 10.
Its whole base has to be wholly with an 8. Like,
it's not.
It has to be a small unit.
If it was like Demonette, it's not so bad because they got 25 mils.
I know. It's going to be Be'lakor running with Demonettes.
I think that might be your best bet, actually.
You want it to be Nurgle, right? And you toss them off to the 5-up, 6-up?
Yep.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's true, because you allocate these mortal wounds to them, and then they have a 6-up to ignore it. Unless
no, you allocate the wounds or mortal wounds to get their armor safe as well. Because as you allocate the wound.
That's after saves. You allocate
wounds. You're right. Brave for you're right. Yeah, my bad.
But they'll have the 6-up to ignore it, and then the 5.
Oh, that's actually really good, because Be'lakor's got that ignore red nonsense.
Right.
Okay.
So he gets a save first.
He chops off most of the wounds, and then he sends them off on 4. Again, it'd be, if this was wholly within 18, it'd be overpowered. If it was Holy Within 12, it'd be more.
I just don't like.
Holy Within 8 is rough.
It really makes Be'lakor want to seem like a one-man army here, but I don't think he's got like he's no Archeon, right? He's no like really big guy. Like he can do a lot of damage.
He's still fantastic. He's still Be'lakor.
Yeah, and he has that crazy ability.
He's not this end-all be-all. He's not this one-man army.
I think you'll probably see a lot of this as opposed to like a generic. If you're going to play Legion of Chaos Ascendant, you're probably going to be playing the Legion of the First Prince along with it.
I don't know. I don't necessarily. Okay, I disagree with you on that one.
Okay,
but I mean, I see the point. I see you thinking that way. Just that after our one game that we played, I could totally see going like mono demon. Absolutely.
Oh, you just go.
I would do. I want to do. I actually want to play another game as soon as possible where I go pure corn.
Just all corn. Yeah, because their stupid command ability is nuts.
Bring him down. Bring him down in charge. Bring him down in charge.
Yeah, it's true.
Either way, that's neither here there. So okay, their command ability they get is actually pretty good, and why Luka really likes them, is use a command ability once per turn at the end of the battle shock phase if Be'lakor is your general. If you do so, you roll a die. Every basic demon unit, so Plague Bearers, Pig Cores, all them, you roll a die. On a 3+, they return D3 lost models. Sounds good. I just don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
I guess it's not the biggest deal.
However, there'll be times when D3 gets you just enough to take an objective. It's not nothing. It's great. Well, it's good. I wouldn't call it great.
Was there any relics that came with the Legion of the Chaos Ascendant? Do you remember?
Yep.
Okay, I was going to say, because there's no relics or command traits here. Now, granted, Be'lakor is in here. That means he can't take a relic or a command trait.
Correct.
But if you have any other heroes in this list, you probably just have to take the ones from the Legion of Chaos. Yeah, there is some. You're right. I remember that.
Yeah, and +1 to the summoning thing.
That's right. That's a command
general,
trait.
So it can't be on Be'lakor, right?
Right.
Well, Be'lakor has to be the general to do this, I think, right?
That's kind of a weird.
Yeah, so Be'lakor has to be the general.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so we have 3 new spells that are from the Ascendant. But each wizard from the Legion of the First Prince also gains
the Master's Command.
It's a casting value of 7. Pick 1 friendly Legion basic demon. Holy Within 12 of the caster and invisible to them. Until the start of your next hero phase, if a model from that unit is slain by an attack made with a melee weapon, that model can fight before it is removed from play. See, now I'm thinking I'll undo the mono demon corn army and then add Be'lakor.
And then just have
I need some casters.
That's true. And then as long as your bloodletters die, they get to fight at least with the Master's Command.
So all the new demon spells kind of short range. But whatever, I want to be your face anyway.
Super close range, yeah. And we also figured out that demon princes weren't really magic users anymore. They didn't really cast spells except for Be'lakor.
Yeah,
that was kind of disappointing. But I mean, they themselves are really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So ultimately, how powerful is this? I don't know. It's too early to tell.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't.
Nobody here is their primary army is any of the books that this supplement has influenced. So you're not a primary American or Blades.
I haven't dabbled in Magican for a long time. Blades of Corn.
Forever.
I did the big. I used to play a lot of Blades of Corn. Then we did the campaign, and I played that was like a lot of Blades of Corn at once. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break from Blades of Corn. When I go back to them at Magican, in fact, I probably will because it's gonna be relevant. I will be playing some Wrath of the Everchosen Magican and Blades of Corn in my future Age of Sigmar battle reports. I'll at least be giving.
Yeah, we're gonna. I have some more ideas I want to try as well. So I think for the narrative, this thing amazing. Ways to play, amazing. There's so much in here.
I think the siege rules are really fun too.
A lot packed into this book. I'll tell you this: I wasn't that interested when I heard about this. I was like, I don't know, whatever.
I wasn't sure what it was going to be because the Slaves of Darkness had just come out, and then
it blew all my expectations out of the water.
It's just such a random release. But you know what? I'm happy to see that it's all kind of coming together, and like here's extra rules for these Chaos armies that came out like a year ago, a year and a half ago.
Exactly. And you have one of those books. Oh, even Hedonists. There's lots of Hedonists in here.
Yeah,
if you have any of those books, you want this.
Yeah, you'll get more out of your, or at least different ways to play.
The 5 books, right? The 4 demons and slaves, right?
Essentially, yeah, that is it.
And
that's what this book covers.
If you were just a mono demon player, I know you guys out there existed and didn't want to ever jump to any of those books, you're back. It may not be the most powerful way to play Chaos.
Right.
But it was fun. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to play that game.
Yeah.
It was fun, and I'm going to do it again.
It's better than playing just Chaos Allegiance.
It's true.
It's way better than that. So at least you get the Legion of Chaos Ascendant.
So, like we said earlier in the video, Luka and I played a game, 1,500 points. I used 1 of each basic demon and 1 demon prince corresponding to each one of them, and tried to play the scenario against
Bone
Reapers. So that is in the MiniWarGaming Vault right now. Now, if you're not already a Vault member, you can click the link below in the description. Get yourself a 7-day free trial. Watch that game. Give us your opinions. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about basic demons. I'm actually super. Demons have always been boring to me. I played one game, I love it.
I want to say that the AOS demons are lacking in a lot of creative ways. I've always liked mortals way more.
The demon princes just...
The demon princes are cool, though. The demon princes are cool.
Yep.
But they were once mortal.
It's true. It's true. That's it, everybody. Thank you for watching. Comment below. Tell us what you think. Join us in the vault for that game. And happy wargaming.